Okay, so a top-down regulatory system will normally take the form at the top level of an agreement or a set of agreements between states. And those agreements are called treaties, sometimes they're called conventions, and what they are essentially are agreements between states in writing that are ratified by the states. So what the content of these agreements will vary from agreement to agreement, but typically they will establish a set of rules concerning that trying to address the problem in hand, a set of principles that will guide the application of those rules. Some treaties establish institutions which will implement the rules and seek to advance them. There may also be procedures which will be followed to deepen and advance the agreement as it exists. So at the top level, that's how it will work. Because these are agreements between states, that then means that states typically will have to translate these agreements into national law. And so that's when that's the top-down nature of it. So initially you have an agreement between states which is governed by international law. That then places obligations on states to enact domestic law, which will advance or implement those rules. And so that's the general dynamic of a top-down system. So, as I said, ordinarily when we think about top-down systems, we think about the international realm, which consists of sovereign states, so that's international law and then national law. But other entities may, and indeed frequently are, implicated by the top-down structure. And those would include regions, such as the European Union, of course. The European Union is a party to an increasing number of international agreements, in particular international environmental agreements, including the Framework Convention on Climate Change, which I think we'll say more about later. Also, subnational units are increasingly important, and by subnational units I mean units like Scotland. So Scotland is not a sovereign state, but it's a subnational unit within a sovereign state, or an American state like California or Texas, or a German Länder or German Land. Would also be an example of a subnational unit, a Canadian province. These are also increasingly important actors within environmental governance. And just to be a little bit more complete, cities are taking an increasingly important role, especially in the climate change area, where, for the simple reason that cities are where most of the world's people live. They consume most of the energy and other natural resources. So regulation at the city level is an increasingly important part of global governance.